Let's make a 1930s dress. Good day everyone, my name is Caitlin. I'm a living historian who educates other living historians by teaching old-fashioned sewing skills and copying original garments. At the end of this year, we're going to be doing a 1930s event, like a Depression era event with lots and lots of friends, which is going to be great. The thing is, I only have like one dress for this time period, and it's going to be an entire weekend, so I like to have at least a spare. I may end up making a third dress too, because the more I thought about it, the more I want to use the pattern that I drafted off an original, which I'd pull out, but it's like at the very top of the shelf and I don't want to, so sorry about that. So if you're interested in seeing the original, I will link the other video where I made this the first time, which was like 3 houses ago. And then my husband picked out this reproduction fabric, so this is a reproduction quilting cotton. I bought several fabrics for 1930s dresses and I let Rhett pick one of the colors. This is it. Technically I do have that Hooverette dress, but that's an in-house dress, so I'm not counting that one. So what I think we're going to do for this one is we're going to use the exact same pattern. So this is, again, drafted exactly off an original that just so happens to fit me. And the only change I'm going to make is this one has a collar on it, which is hard to see in the video because the original uses the same fabric for the collar. So it's not really visible. What I think I'm going to do is take a very light, like voile type cotton and do my collar in that, which is very popular in the 30s. I also might do different sleeves. Not because I don't like these sleeves, because usually when I see originals and they have a contrast collar, typically there's going to be like a contrast band on the sleeves to match. So I think that's what we're going to do, and also make it a little, give it a little bit more variety in my wardrobe. So we're not using the same exact pattern twice. We're going to switch a few things up. So this is our fabric that we're going to use. I love it, and I think it's going to look really good with like a white thin collar and such. So let's go ahead and hope that I have all the pieces in here. Otherwise I am going to have to pull out the original and draft it again. We'll see what I got in here, and we'll go ahead and cut this project out. Alright. Looks like I have all the pattern pieces, which is more than I expected, to be quite frank. Good to know I had it all together. A fun shaped little dress. There's a lot of pieces to it. It's deceptively simple, but there are a lot of pieces to it. Then a while back I purchased a 1930s dress pattern that I never put together. Maybe we'll make it next time. I don't know, but I'm going to pull the sleeve off of that pattern. And I have lots of fabric left, so I guess one day I can make a little girl's dress out of all this. I would love to make this on the 1930s machine. Unfortunately, my 1930s machine is hand crank and I do not have the time today, unfortunately. So I found one that was really cute. It looked like it had like a self fabric cuff, but then there was a little bit of, I guess, rickrack or something in between it. So I found some white cotton rickrack. I think it would be cuter if it was pink, but this is what I have. And we're going to stitch this in and make ourselves a little cuff. Kind of guesstimate. So this is going to do this. Well, it started really nice, then it went haywire. So I'm going to do that again. Anyway, it started off really nice, and this is going to get folded down. This will get folded up, and then there'll be like a little bit of rickrack on my sleeve. I gotta take the seam out now because that did not work the way it suggested it was going to work. And then I'm going to take the whole thing and sew it up. I'm going to make sure that the seams are pointed downwards. That way this goes up, which is what, of course, we want. Which I'm matching the top of this. And I put the selvage up here so I don't have to fold it under twice. I figured it was already bulky enough, so this was a good use of that selvage edge. turn this right side out. It's a little hard to see because it's, you know, a busy print, but I think it's just an elegant sort of detail, so I like that. I think we're going to finish the ruffle in the same way because I was really not looking forward to hemming the circular bit of fabric. That can be really hard to do, but I think if I sew this and flip it under and then top stitch it down, I think that'll be a nice edge that's easy to do. So this probably needs to be ironed down, but we have a sleeve. Alright, the next step is sewing the fronts and backs together. And this pattern is a front top and a bottom front and a top front. And I already stitched those together, so I'm just doing the front and back now. I think the next step is we might as well go ahead and put this collar on this thing, which means I probably want to finish the collar first. So we're going to get the wage braid or rickrack back out. Alright. So I'm taking the rickrack and I'm putting it just on the raw edge of this voile that I have. Stitching it down. And the goal is to take it, fold it back, and then top stitch it and hope that that raw edge is fine. It should be because it's cut all the way around, so a lot of it's on the bias, which should help. Okay, I'm sewing in the collar. And I'm doing this, well, wrong side of fabric to right side of collar. I'm going to flip it up. And then I'm going to sew in the sleeves, and at that point, well, I guess I got to do the top stitching. I got to iron before I do top stitching though. So when I printed out the other sleeve pattern, I did some measuring because I thought it looks like a small arm's eye, and it was a little bit small. So I was like, okay, I'm going to add, you know, like 1.5 inches, that way it fits my arm's eye because I know my armhole measurement. I didn't remember. I know my 19th century arm's eye measurement. I didn't think to measure this dress, and this arm's eye is significantly larger than my 19th century arm size, which means I had to add a little bit of gusset in the sleeve. I could have recut the whole sleeve. I have enough fabric to recut the sleeve, but this is the 1930s. We're in the middle of a depression. We're not going to recut an entire sleeve when I can save that fabric for a little girl's dress. I'm going to just use scrap fabric and put a little gusset in there, which is what I did. I will do the other sleeve and then I guess go to the ironing board and press all this. Right now the skirt, this front skirt was cut in half. There's a seam up the center front, which is weird, but that's fine. There's a little gusset put on the very bottom. It's just a cute little detail. So I'm putting that in. And then this we're just going to stitch down. I just found it easier just to fold it like that and stitch right over there. And that'll hold it in place. So it's just like, in the very center front, it's a little weird, but it's just like this little 10-inch gusset or something. I don't know. And then the side seams for the skirt. I actually adore it. You know, I did technically forget that this was sewn, you know, front bodice to front skirt, and that, yeah, I did sew this in correctly. Oops. It won't be noticeable from the outside. Really should have watched my old video before going to do this. I'm going to finish sewing the skirt seam and then finish these edges, do a gathering thread, and we can attach it to the bodice. Maybe I should hem it before I attach the bodice. That way I don't have to deal with the bodice when I'm trying to hem. We'll do it that way. The pattern allowed for a 2-inch hem, so I turned under 3/8 of an inch, and then this one is 1 3/4, about 1 5/8, which equals 2 inches. So now I get to attach the bodice to the skirt. Alright, I have the skirt attached. It is very lightly gathered to the bodice because the bodice is so huge. It goes, you know, to my hips essentially. And so, yes, it doesn't need that much more for walking space. So, very lightly gathered. And then I realized that we never cut a belt, and I do need a self-fabric belt, so we're going to go ahead and cut and sew that. Alright, I just used a little bit of scrap from cutting, I think it was a skirt that I had this little bit left over, and just so happened to fit. It's going to be a little bit of a narrow side, about an inch wide waistband, which is fine. I know I have a mother of pearl belt buckle that's vintage somewhere, and it takes about an inch wide belt, so I wanted to make sure it would fit that. I don't know if I'll be able to find it for the ending of this video, but I will look for it. I don't know if it was my imagination or not, but I swear I saw that like a week or so ago. Getting this turned right side out. I have a giant crochet hook that I usually use for this purpose. And it usually works quite well when I don't have everything tangled up. There we go. It's like a giant knitting needle, but it's a crochet hook. I find it in general works really well. And then when I close the end, then I can use the knitting needle to poke the rest of it out. The ends. This is going to need to be ironed, and I need to turn this edge in. But yeah, I will look. It's getting kind of late, so I'm not going to film the ending to this tonight. I will look tomorrow, and I will see if I can find that belt buckle. I hope I can, because I'd like to keep the two pieces together so I don't lose them again. So we'll see. Alright, here's the pretty dress. I love the color, it's adorable. Please excuse the fact that I am not wearing period underwear. I am not, I don't have my hair done. I'm wearing 19th century earrings. I am about to leave for 2 weeks for a work trip. And so I thought I was going to be able to get everything done in time so I could film this before I leave, and I couldn't. So please excuse, this is not how this would be worn to a living history event. I don't have my girdle on, I don't have a slip on. Like, this is just the dress. So please look at the dress itself, not how I'm representing it, because this is not appropriate. But yes, it turned out so cute. I actually do really like the collar and the little detail in the sleeves. I think it's just enough. It's not overwhelming. There's just a little bit here, a little bit here. One of the original dresses had pockets like right here, which I have a seam right here. I just realized. I'm wondering if I could add like little pockets in there and then have a little bit of the white here with the rickrack and like make little pockets here. I'll have to look a little bit more into that, but I think that'd be a great addition to this dress. But yeah, I mean, it's cute. I think I actually like it better than the blue one, honestly. And the blue one, I like the blue one a lot. It works really well for summer wear because it's like a voile. It's very nice, light, and cool. This is a little bit of a sturdier fabric. But I think this pattern lends itself to a sturdier fabric too. So yeah, that's the dress with no proper under things. So hopefully next time we see it, it'll be more proper and you'll see things, you'll see how it's actually meant to be seen. Because this isn't it. But I did want to show you, and I really considered just like hanging out on the wall and just like talking behind the camera like I sometimes do. And then I was like, that's no fun. So I thought I'd at least try it on for you, even though this is not, again, how it would be worn. Could not even find my belt buckle. It is pinned with a straight pin right now, just stuck in there. So that's just how it is right now. I think it's really cute. I think I would use this for modern wear. Maybe not with the collar. I don't know. I have to try it out and just see how comfortable I am with it. But I would put it work. I would put a skirt over top, mostly because I'm not used to short skirts like this. And I know this is not necessarily short, but it's short to me. I'm not accustomed to it. It's too weird. So yeah, I think I'd wear like a normal skirt over top of it. But yeah, I think for what it was a super quick, simple project. I think I got it done like in a couple hours from cutting all the way to finishing it, which was super nice because, again, I don't do this time period very often. Now, of course, there were a few things that I messed up, just how the original was sewn together. I think this is a fine way to sew it together. It just wasn't how that one particular original sewed it together. She sewed it together, as I was remembering, I went, oh yeah, that's how she did it. It was the front piece and then this front belt piece, and then the skirts went together, and the back bodice and the skirt went together. And then she put in the sleeves. I guess she sewed them at the shoulder seams, and she sewed them at the shoulder seams and then put the sleeves in so it could literally lay flat. And then she took from the underarm seam and just stitched it all the way down on both sides. That's how she stitched it together. Didn't remember that till later, but again, this is like how I think normal people would sew a dress. This is how I've seen other 1930s dresses being sewn, so it's not necessarily wrong. It's just not what the original that this pattern came from shows. It's still period appropriate techniques. It's just, again, not how that particular original showed. And this wasn't supposed to be like a copy of that original. Obviously, we changed the sleeves. It's a totally different fabric. Like the last time I made this dress, I was trying to copy that dress. So I think copying the techniques made sense, but I don't think I had to copy the techniques this time. It was more like, let's get a dress out so I have another 1930s like day dress. And a lot of these I just wear, again, in normal life too. So they're like doing double duty, which is great. If I'm gonna have that many garments for a time period I only do like once or twice a year, which would be the 1930s, I'm gonna need more usage. Now, I likely will be doing more 1930s now. We have a 1929 car, we have a 1939 car, and we are starting to do more car shows. We actually have one next week, in which case I will probably wear this dress because it's brand new and it's fun and nice and summery too, nice and spring summery. So I think that'd be fun. But yeah, and for that I will take out my appropriate underpinnings. I just couldn't for like the 5-minute video because I am literally about to leave as soon as this video is over. But yeah, that's the 1930s dress. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed the video, please like, subscribe to the channel, click that little bell notification so you're notified anytime I upload a new video. And as always, have a fantastic week, and I'll see you back here in the next video.